We'll tear your soul apart.
Be my victim.
But the prime time, bitch!
For every Halloween or Conjuring film that dominates the horror conversation, there are countless hidden gems that slip through the cracks. These films may not have had blockbuster budgets or massive marketing campaigns, but they bring something fresh, creative, and truly terrifying to the genre. Today, we're diving into 7 underrated horror films that absolutely deserve a spot on your watch list. From psychological nightmares to found footage frights, let's talk about the best horror movies you might have missed. This 2014 horror film presents itself as a documentary about an elderly woman battling Alzheimer's. But as the crew documents her decline, they realize something far more sinister is happening. I recently just watched this film for the first time a few months ago, and what really makes The Taking of Deborah Logan stand out isn't just its scares, though trust me, there are some truly nightmare-inducing moments. But it's its emotional depth. It cleverly blends real-world fears about aging, loss of identity, and mental decline with supernatural horror, making it feel disturbingly real. I'm also definitely not a gigantic fan of found footage films because they have overpopulated the horror genre immensely, and there are far more bad ones than good ones. But this is a good one. Jill Larson delivers a haunting performance, making Deborah both heartbreaking and terrifying. The film escalates with some shocking moments, one in particular that has become infamous online, and despite its originality, The Taking of Deborah Logan is often overshadowed by bigger budget possession films such as The Conjuring. But in terms of raw tension and unsettling imagery, this one stands toe-to-toe with some of the best of them. Released in 2001, the film follows a team of asbestos cleaners working inside an abandoned asylum. From the moment they enter, the decaying walls and eerie atmosphere create an immediate sense of dread. But this isn't your typical haunted asylum story. There's no cheap jump scares or ghosts hiding in the corners. Instead, the horror comes from the characters' own paranoia and unraveling sanity. The film's ambiguous storytelling and unnerving sound design make it an incredible experience. It's slow-burning horror, but once it gets under your skin, it does not let go. Hardcore horror fans often hail Session 9 as one of the most underrated psychological thrillers of all time, and if you haven't seen it, you're missing out on a masterclass of atmospheric horror. This 2016 horror film takes place almost entirely in one location, which I love, and that is a morgue. It follows a father-son coroner team played by the fantastic Brian Cox and Emil Hirsch, as they perform an autopsy on an unidentified woman found in a grisly crime scene. At first, everything seems routine, but as they examine the body more, strange things begin happening, and they realize Jane Doe isn't just a victim, she's something far worse. What makes the Autopsy of Jane Doe so effective is this minimalistic and immersive approach. The tension builds gradually as the film goes on, and the horror is both psychological and supernatural. The film keeps you guessing about Jane Doe's origins, and by the time the truth is revealed, it's genuinely chilling, both with the story behind it and the camera work in the filmmaking. Despite its critical acclaim, this movie never quite reached mainstream horror audiences, which is a shame because it's a damn near perfect example of how to do a confined horror film. Definitely go check this one out. If you love films that really mess with your mind, Triangle is one of the best hidden gems out there. It follows a group of friends who find themselves stranded at sea only to be rescued by a seemingly abandoned ship. But once aboard, they realize they're trapped in a terrifying time loop. I know, a time loop film. Once again, much like found footage, those have become $1 a dozen. What makes Triangle so unique is how it plays on the perspective and inevitability. Every time you think you have a story figured out, it twists again, revealing a brand new layer. The film really does require multiple viewings to fully appreciate, and even then, its deeper themes about guilt and fate leave room for interpretation. Despite its clever writing and solid performances, Triangle never gained the recognition it deserved. but for fans of smart psychological horror, this is again a must-watch. Well, what do you know, we're talking about yet another horror film that its subgenre is a dime a dozen. Zombie movies have been done to death, literally. But Pontypool reinvents the genre with a mind-blowing concept. The infection isn't spread through bites or blood, but through language itself. That might sound dumb, but the story follows a small-time radio DJ who begins receiving reports of people going insane. As the outbreak spreads, he realizes certain words are triggering the virus. This film is honestly terrifying because it plays on something we use every day. It's claustrophobic, taking place mostly in a radio station, forcing the audience to rely on sound and dialogue to build the tension, and it's done so well. While it does have a cult following, Pontypool again just skipped out on the mainstream attention it deserved. It honestly might be one of the most original horror films of the past 2 decades. Like I said before, found footage horror is usually a hit or miss, but Afflicted is one of the best examples of how to do it right. The film follows 2 best friends traveling the world when one of them begins experiencing terrifying changes after a mysterious encounter. Unlike typical vampire films, Afflicted grounds its horror in realism. The transformation is gradual, the effects are shockingly good for the film's small budget, and the found footage style makes it feel even more disturbing. The way it builds tension and slowly reveals the horrifying truth is masterfully done in my opinion. Despite its originality and critical praise, Afflicted remains criminally underseen. If you're a fan of films such as Chronicle or Wreck or the modern remake Quarantine, this again is a must-watch. Last but not least at all, unlike the supernatural horrors on this list, Green Room is terrifying because it's so real. It follows a punk band who, after witnessing a murder at a neo-Nazi club that they were playing at, find themselves trapped in a fight for survival. The tension in Green Room is truly suffocating, the violence is raw, the stakes are brutally high, and the performances are incredible, especially Patrick Stewart as the terrifyingly calm yet ruthless villain of the film. It's more of a thriller than a straight-up horror, but the sheer dread and intensity make it scarier than most ghost stories. And once again, despite its critical acclaim, Green Room never became as widely recognized as it should have been. But trust me, once you watch it, you will not forget it. So, there you have it guys, 7 underrated horror films that absolutely deserve more love, in my opinion. These movies prove that horror isn't just about big budget productions or just cranking out a simple story. Sometimes the scariest, most creative, and most memorable horror films, or films in general, come from unexpected places. Now I want to hear from you. What are some of your favorite underrated horror films? Drop them in the comments below, let me know. And if you liked this video, or if you didn't like this video, hit that thumbs up button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell to stay up to date with all the horror content I have coming your way. Stay scared, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.